What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. So today I'm partnering up with Cirque Colors to show you their new Far Far Away collection. But before we get into that, if you haven't heard of Cirque before, they are an independent nail polish brand. They're based in the US and all of their polishes are 10 free, meaning they are free of 10 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal derived ingredients, and they're also cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So like I said, they just came out with this new collection called Far Far Away. It's like this very whimsical, magical, fantasy-inspired polish set. We've got 8 brand new colors and they're all in the SHIMMERGRAPHIC formula, which you might be familiar with if you saw my collab with them, but it is a new finish of theirs that's basically a combination of a shimmer polish and a holographic polish. So we've got a lot of gorgeous colors going on here. I'm just going to dive into the collection and I'm also going to show you what they look like over black. They are full coverage polishes, but I just feel like when you get so much gorgeous shimmer and holo, sometimes things look really cool over black and I wanted to experiment. So I'm going to show you that as well. Then we can get into pricing, availability, my thoughts, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today I'm using the Cirque base coat. So we'll start off with the shade Radiant Realm, and this one is a sheer gold shimmer nail polish that is packed with these teeny tiny hollow glitters as well. And I have to say, this is a really beautiful shade. I actually love the way that it looks as a more sheer look, but I was able to build it up to a pretty full coverage in 3 coats. Although, you know me, I do love a little bit of visible nail line, so I thought it was really pretty in 2. I feel like it was just the perfect amount of getting that gold color while also having that sort of sheer softness to it. It almost felt a little bit bridal to me, but it also feels like it would be such a beautiful, soft event kind of color for this time of year, especially for the winter holidays, because it has that elegance, but it still is that vibrant, warm gold color. I did think that the holo was being a little bit shy on camera. I do think it's a little bit more holographic in real life, but you can see it a little bit easier around my cuticle area, just where it's like a little bit out of focus. You can see some of that holo sparkle. But like I said, just out of curiosity, I wanted to see what these polishes looked like over black. So I did apply them in 1 coat over black, and you can see it really transformed the polish. I think you could see that golden color a lot more, and you can also see just how holographic it is over black. It's definitely showing a lot better on camera, but I actually think it looks really cool over black. Next up, we have the shade Last Unicorn, and this one is almost like the silver version of Radiant Realm. It's actually more of this milky white base, and then we have a really intense iridescent blue shimmer running throughout, as well as those tiny holographic sparkles running throughout. And again, I just love the way that this one builds up. I really thought it was a beautiful wash of color in the first coat, and in 2 coats, again, it gave me very bridal vibes, and I just love that it has that soft sheerness to it, but it's not patchy at all. Also, with the blue shimmer in there, it's kind of like you're something blue. So I do feel like this would be a really beautiful bridal shade, but I ended up putting on 3 coats for pretty full coverage. You could still see a very soft amount of my nail underneath, but again, it wasn't patchy at all, and it really looked very smooth across the nail. And I do think that the holographic sparkle showed up a little bit better on camera for this color, and the blue shimmer in there is just stunning. Again, I had to try it over black. I think that milky base kind of made it look a little bit cloudy, but I feel like this would be very cool to wear over a darker blue shade just because of that blue shimmer in there. But it's also really interesting because seeing it over black also helps you to see exactly what kind of glitters are in there. So you can see the holo a little bit better, and you can see just how intense that blue sparkle is. Next up, we have the shade True Love's First Kiss, and this one is a gorgeous medium soft pink. Again, it does start off as a sheer color with no patchiness, so I also thought this was really cool in the first coat and really cool in the second coat, but I did end up trying 3 coats for full coverage just to show you. But within this gorgeous pink, we have this almost aqua blue kind of shimmer, and then we also have that absolutely packed amount of holographic glitter in there as well. So a really beautiful shade. It builds up so nicely. Definitely feels like a perfect fantasy color. It's definitely got that little bit of like a bubblegum princess kind of vibe, and I love that extra sparkle. But the color is soft enough that I think it can also feel a little bit more elegant. I feel like people tend to think of these sorts of sparkly pinks as younger colors, but I think having that slight sheerness, I don't know, it makes it feel a little bit more mature to me. So I definitely enjoy that. I've been loving pinks like this recently, especially when there's that bluish sort of shimmer in there. So really enjoyed this color. And again, just trying it over black, you could see it did have a little bit of that milkiness to it, but as I applied it onto the black polish, it sort of softened out, and I think this actually looks stunning. And you can really see how it's that more aqua kind of blue rather than that cobalt kind of blue as a shimmer in there. And then we have the shade Pixie Holo, and this one actually ended up being my favorite of the collection, which is tough to say because a lot of these were so stunning that it was hard to pick, but I just cannot get over this color combination. We have this periwinkle purple base color, and then it is packed with this shimmer that is iridescent. It looks green head on, which in itself is just a really beautiful, unique color combo, and I think it just works so well together. But because it's iridescent, at certain angles, it actually looks like more of a pink, so it has that really cool shiftiness to it. And then again, we have that holographic sparkle running throughout, so I just feel like the color combos in here are so stunning. It did give me really nice opacity in 2 coats, but if I want full coverage, I do 3 coats, and I just think it's so beautiful. I love the way the light hits it, and you can see that intense green color, and I love that even though the shimmer is so different from the base color, it doesn't feel like it grays it out at all. It still feels very intense and vibrant in color. And I thought it was really interesting to see this one over black because that periwinkle purpley kind of color really faded away, and it just ended up being this intense blackened green with that hollow sparkle. So this definitely gave me a little bit of like a snaky vibe, and it totally changed the feel of the polish, which I thought was really cool. Now, the next 4 shades of the collection are a little bit deeper, and I think with those deeper colors, you can definitely see that holographic sparkle a little bit more. So these ones definitely looked more intense on the nails. This first one is called Dragon's Dungeon, and it's described as being an oxblood red base color. To me, I'm definitely seeing a more fuchsia pinky kind of shade. And then we have this really intense iridescent shimmer in there that shifts from blue to purple, and around the edges it definitely does look a little bit more red, but I think especially with that shimmer in there, it almost transforms it into a deep pink berry kind of color. And I really love the coverage in 2 coats, but just out of curiosity, I did a 3rd coat, and I think it really deepened into that sort of oxblood color. So really stunning. Again, that hollow sparkle running throughout was just so intense in this deeper color, so it really felt very sparkly and intense, especially the way the light hits it just feels very gorgeous. So I was super curious to see how this one would look when I paired it over black, and I found that it kept that blue coloring to it with that shimmer, and the hollow sparkle really just came alive over black, so it almost gave me a little bit of a cosmic vibe with this color. And then we have the shade Elixir of Everlasting Life, and this one is a really intense green jelly base, and it is packed with another iridescent shimmer. This one head on looks blue, which I have to say I am loving recently, seeing these greens with a blue shimmer in them. There's just something about that color combination that feels so perfect to me, and I absolutely love it. But at certain angles, you can also see that shimmer shifting into a more purpley color and even into pink at more extreme angles. And then again, we have that holographic sparkle running throughout. So for a more jelly look, I first started out with 2 coats, and I think it was really beautiful that way. But if I really wanted to ramp up the color, I think that 3rd coat made it a lot more intense, and it also made it full coverage on me. So again, just a really beautiful shade. I think having that blue purpley kind of shimmer in there really cools down the green, and it makes it feel almost like a teal, but you can very distinctly see that green color as well. So very stunning shade. Again, I tried it over black just out of curiosity, and I wasn't sure what to expect with this one, but again, it gave me a very cosmic sort of vibe. I feel like that blue really came alive over the black, and again, that holographic sparkle was just really intense. Moving on, we have the shade Scorched Sorceress, and this is a very unique color. It's definitely difficult to describe, but it's actually a black base, and it is packed with a very multicolored shimmer in here. So it really transforms that black base color into something completely different. So head on, it almost looks like this reddish coppery kind of color, but it also shifts into gold and even into green at certain angles. And again, it is fully packed with that holographic sparkle as well. So with that combination, it almost gives a little bit of like a brownish color, but it's so much more layered than that, because the more you look at it, the more you're seeing like that red copper color and that gold, and even around the edges, that sort of black black base color going on, and all the holographic sparkle really just adds to it. So it's a really stunning shade. It gave me perfect coverage into coats, and then I did try it over black, and I think that just intensified it even more. So we still got all of that intense color shifty shimmer in there and the hollow sparkle. It just looked like a deeper, more intense version of Scorched Sorceress. And then last but not least, we have the shade Grimoire Glitz, and this is another one that's very difficult to describe because there's a lot of colors going on in it, but this one is actually a gray base, and then we have another iridescent super shifty shimmer in there that head-on looks purple, but it also shifts into gold, into copper, and then into green when you're looking at it at certain angles, and you can even see a little bit of blue at more extreme angles as well. And then again, of course, we did have that holographic sparkle running throughout that just adds to it, and the more coats I did, the more intense and deep that color got. So I really love the way that it looked. I loved that purpley color that came through, but I also just loved how shifty and different it was. So definitely a fun polish, and it's also, again, a deeper, intense color where you can see so much of that holographic sparkle. So it just looks like a lot going on the nails, but in a very good way. And then one last time trying it over black, I saw it looked really, really interesting. It almost turned into this kind of fuchsia color, but again, at the extreme angles, you could see that kind of green coming through as well. And again, that holographic sparkle just looked super, super intense over a dark color. So here are all the shades together, and I have to say, I didn't even realize until I was doing this voiceover that they kind of split the collection in half, with the top shades being the more sheer, ethereal, soft kind of colors, and the bottom four shades being like the more intense fantasy kind of colors. And I think that's a really cool idea. I love how beautifully the colors play with each other. I think they all work really nicely. And what I really love about this set is that it doesn't feel specifically geared towards one season. It almost feels like these kind of colors can be worn any time of year, especially with all the different colors they have going on and the different shimmers and combinations. And I feel like experimenting with them can also just completely change what feels like a very soft, subtle kind of color into something really intense and deep and dark. So super fun to play around with, incredible formulas, gorgeous colors. I love the inspiration. So let's talk about it a little bit more. So those are the polishes, and like I said, we just have a really gorgeous range of colors here. I love the very whimsical feel of them. I love how layered these polishes are with that shimmer and the holographic sparkle in there. It's definitely a very different formula from their usual shimmers that just have like a touch of holo in them. These are definitely very pronounced holographic sparkle, and it just creates a really interesting finish. I also really loved seeing what they looked like over black and how it kind of transformed the polish. Now, obviously these are full coverage polishes. They're intended to be worn on their own, but I really love finding other ways to wear a polish, because to me that almost makes it feel like you have multiple polishes in one, and you don't need to necessarily wear them over black specifically to get that interesting transformation. I think it would be really fun to experiment with these colors over really any dark cream, like a dark brown or a dark green, something like that. I think could really transform the colors, but I think black gives the most stark difference between what a color looks like on its own versus how it kind of transforms over a deeper color. So I thought that was really fun to experiment with, and it's definitely something I feel like Cirque polishes tend to look really cool when you layer them, even when they are just regular full coverage polishes. So I always know that I can experiment with those. So yeah, overall, I think this collection was super gorgeous. Like I said, totally love that SHIMMERGRAPHIC formula. I think they're such beautiful finishes. So I definitely highly recommend trying out that SHIMMERGRAPHIC formula if you haven't tried it yet. So now let's get into the pricing and availability. All of these polishes are limited edition. They come in the usual 11 milliliter bottle, and they all feature the wide flat brush that has the rounded tip, so application's really easy. They retail on the Cirque website for $14.50 USD each, or you can get all 8 polishes for the discounted price of $104.40 USD. And I also do have an affiliate discount code with Cirque, so if you use the code KELLI, you can get 10% off your first order with them, so I'll link that down below. If you're looking to stock up on some other stuff while you're there, I love their base coat, and I love, love, love their top coat as well. So if you're in the market for a good base and top coat, they did make it to my top favorite base and top coats video. I definitely recommend them. I use them very frequently. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this collection. I love the inspiration. I love the theme. I love the colors, and I love how they can really transform when you experiment with layering them. So overall, this collection gets a big thumbs up from me, but I'm curious to to hear what you think. What do you think of the collection as a whole? What do you think of that SHIMMERGRAPHIC formula? Which color is your favorite? Are you planning on picking any of them up, or have you already? Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please give this one a thumbs up. It really helps me out, lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. I put out new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And of course, a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon, my Royal Astronomer Amanda M, as well as my Cosmic Admirals Paula, Ken, and Rosie. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Christina, and Christina wants to know, do you ever wear your hair wavy or up in a ponytail, etc.? That is a great question, and it's something that I always try to do, but I, for whatever reason, struggle so much with wearing my hair up. I have a few reasons, which I'll tell you. For starters, I have a lot of hair, so I do actually have an undercut, so the bottom third of my hair is shaved off. And I feel like when I had my full head of hair, I literally never wore it up ever because it was so heavy to do anything with that it actually just hurt my head to wear up. So I feel like during those kind of formative years where you like start to get used to things, I just had my hair down all the time. And now as an adult, I'm so used to that feeling that it does feel weird to wear my hair up. Like it just feels uncomfortable on my head because I never wore my hair up growing up. I do wear it up to work out. I either do like a bun on top of my head, or sometimes I'll do pigtails if my hair's really long. But overall, I almost never do anything with it just because I'm so used to the way that it feels down. I do try to do like wavy hair and curls sometimes, but I feel like I'm not great at it. And I know the more I practice, the better I'll be at it. It's a daunting thing, so I don't try it that often, but I do actually enjoy doing it. I especially love to do it when my hair is a little bit longer, and right now it's super, super long. I don't even know if you can see how long it is, but this is longer than I usually keep it. So maybe I'll try doing like a little wavy situation. Yeah, I don't know. I always try to like be the person who wears my hair up, or at least in like something interesting besides wearing it down, but I just never end up doing it. But you know, I also was the same way with lipstick for a long time. I never ever wore colors on my lips because I always wanted to just have like a very light neutral color. And then I kind of forced myself to experiment with different lipsticks and stuff, and I found that I actually really like the way that lipstick looks on me. So maybe I just need to, I don't know, push myself out of my comfort zone and just try it, just see what it feels like. Does anybody else feel the same way, or am I just a very weird person who never wears my hair up? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!